Joining us now to discuss the caravan crisis as well as the upcoming Rosenstein hearing on Capitol Hill tomorrow, Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, Fox Business contributor. Byron, great to see you. Let's start with first the violence against Republicans by the left in this country. We've got a number of news organizations who want to paint this as some sort of duality in which it's a bipartisan issue. It is not. It is clearly not, and it is clearly the violence and the violent rhetoric of the left at issue.
The most serious being the shooting attack that nearly killed Representative Steve Scalise, could have killed others, specifically directed at Republican politicians, a high-powered rifle attack. This was really, really serious, and we can only hope that nothing worse than that happens.
Well, we don't have to hope. We can vote, and we can actually assure that none of them get into office. That's probably a reach too far. None of them. Some will likely to. We have to, after all, preserve a two-party system. Where do you see this election going? I think the president has put it straightforwardly correctly in terms of motivation here. It is Kavanaugh, caravan, without any question, in my judgment, and common sense. By the way, this is not the president's being modest. His judgment and his intellect that he's bringing to bear is not common at all.
You know, I was talking to some Republican strategists in recent weeks, and they were pretty encouraged by the after effects of the whole Brett Kavanaugh fight, not just in the Senate, but also in the House, too, basically really discrediting a lot of Republicans. But those consultants and strategists who are working to try to keep the House for Republicans did say, boy, we really could use one more thing. And everyone's wondering whether the caravan is that one more thing. It's just so obviously newsworthy. You have a mile-long caravan of people hoping to enter the United States illegally, and you have Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi telling their candidates essentially to ignore it because it's a distraction from the health care issue. And I think any voter with eyes can see that that's just not going to fly. So we've still got 2 weeks from today, and we don't know how this is going to play out.
Well, it seems to me that it's playing out remarkably well for the Republicans. This president has tough decisions ahead of him, certainly, but he also has two opportunities here. One is to actually form the partnership that we thought might have developed between Andrés Manuel Obrador. That didn't happen. He led the president's people on. Peña Nieto, the president of Mexico, it looked like a partnership might be forming on the caravan. That didn't happen. Now, this is a country that has to defend its borders. This president saying he will send as many troops as necessary to that border. That caravan, he has declared, will not enter the United States.
Well, first of all, there are, limits on what troops can do in a situation like this. Also, it could be, first of all,
those limits, by the way, are not quite what people think, Byron. Just to go to the point, it's our understanding, and it's a clear one, that those troops can even move into Mexico at the president's orders at the border for the purpose of defending that border. This is, all the fancy legal minds that operate in Washington, frankly, need some support, because that's growing up as a quick mushroom of conventional thought that needs to be, I think, corrected.
Also, you could have an extraordinary situation. We've heard that this group is actually planning to take kind of the long route to the United States, the western route, to end up in Tijuana and possibly enter in California, which, California is a state that wants to think it's its own country. They want to have their own foreign policy. They want to have their own domestic policy. This is not the right president for California to have to negotiate that with. Well, I think this could set up an extraordinarily interesting situation if, in fact, this comes to pass, that these migrants are trying to enter the United States in California. The government of California does not want to do anything to stop them, and the President of the United States wants to enforce federal law. Could be a really interesting situation.
Well, it's a difficult and needlessly difficult situation for this president. He is the commander-in-chief, the president, and Jerry Brown, frankly, is not in his league. It is not a contest that he would want, I would think. He's been over time, no matter what you think of the left-wing Governor Moonbeam, he's made some pretty good political judgments. I don't think that would include taking on the President of the United States, particularly this one. Byron York, always good to talk with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lou.